I always start my videos talking about this character. He's everybody's favorite tokenized character that they don't actually like. They like the idea of him because they don't actually financially support his work outside of, I don't know, a movie or something. And that is Miles Morales. Now, as of recent, they have done everything it is that's in their fucking power to try to push this character, and it has not stuck. It didn't stick back in the Ultimate Comics days. They bring him into the Marvel universe, didn't really stick. And now here's a what if. He's Captain America, he's Falcon, and he gets his own Clone Wars, and we have an example. They've fall back on the multiverse, and now we have an evil version of Peter Parker right here. A new ruler is coming to New York City within the Marvel Universe, an evil Miles Morales clone who may have a bonus to pick with Spider-Man. In the June 2022 Marvel Comics, the publisher provided a preview for the upcoming Miles Morales Spider-Man 39. That means that's still that book is not selling. So there's still, all right, so that's a write-off for sure. Because even when I was still having a pull list, right? That's it, because this is numbered 40, almost numbered 40, they're still continuing on with the series that wasn't selling when I was still buying them. The issue sees Miles and his friendly spider clone, Shift, continue on their multiversal adventure only to find that New York City isn't quite the same as when they left. The preview reads, Miles and Shift's, it's like this Clone Saga shit. There's nothing that this character is about this character that we have not already seen from a version of Peter Parker. Like they're literally copying and pasting this shit. Miles and Shift's hunt through the multiverse has landed them back in New York City. He says the Empire of the Spider, an evil Miles Morales clone, Selim, has crowned himself emperor to defeat the oppressive regime. Miles will need the help of rebel leaders like General Lee and Captain Billy Morales, who has grown up in a world without her brother and where Spider-Man represents only pain and suffering. And if Miles failed to sell him, what does that mean for the fate of Peter Parker? And here is, I'm guessing that's Peter, that he is holding a blade of some sort, evil Miles Morales, on the cover of Miles Morales Spider-Man. This is, by the way, this is actually how they really feel about Peter Parker, and that they're so frustrated that nobody gives a shit about this character. Even when they killed him off in his own universe to prop up Miles Morales as the successor of the Spider-Man, nobody was interested. So this really makes this is interesting because this is how they actually feel about this fucking character. In Miles Morales Spider-Man issue 8, Miles was kidnapped, tortured, and treated as a human test subject by an evil algorithm called the Assessor. The Assessor took DNA from Miles' body and used it to make a trio of clones. Oh, we haven't seen that fucking shit before. Not at all. That's totally original of a story for a Spider-Man. We've never seen that fucking happen, guys. Brand new, fresh. You're really knocking it out the park with the originality there. The Spider-Man then had to face off against them later in the series. In Miles Morales Spider-Man issue 28, Selim and the Mind Spinner are both seemingly taken out by an energy blast following a battle of the Brooklyn Bridge, where Shift turns against his fellow clones and becomes Spider-Man's new brother. Miles and Shift later break into the Assessor's facility to unplug the algorithm once and for all, which they're only able to do thanks to some help from Quantum, the former assistant of the Assessor. Following the Assessor's defeat and Quantum's departure, Spider-Man and Shift discover that Miles' uncle Aaron may still be alive in a different multiverse. Man, they love that fucking multiverse. The two characters then enter a portal in an effort to rescue him. So in the current Spider-Man run, Lee is Miles' best friend and Billy Morales is his infant sister. Neither of them has shown any signs of having superpowers up until now, which suggests that Miles and Shift will meet different variants of the characters. Boring. Whether Selim somehow survived the Brooklyn Bridge blast and seized power of New York City, New York away from the Kingpin, and now he's tokenized Kingpin, basically, Black Kingpin, because he's the Emperor, right? Or if this is Selim from another dimension remains to be seen in upcoming Spider-Man issues. They have no idea what to do with these characters, and or this character particularly, and all they're doing is taking arcs that we've already seen from the Spider-Man, the one and only Spider-Man, and they're giving it to him, and they're just flailing. They're hoping something sticks because they want him to be accepted. He's probably going to be appearing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe very soon, and yeah, that'll probably see a little bit of success because people love to see black versions of white things, and because they only see legitimacy in white characters, these fucking losers. But nobody's going to be interested in this. It's already happened. But what it does do is it shows that, look, this is my thing. Even for the tokenized characters, this is boring. Even though I think multiverses is one of the things that I hate about comic books. I hate it with Marvel. I hate it with DC because what it does is it makes your world a free-for-all. There's no stakes where you can just sit up here and have you rely upon an alternate universe where this didn't happen, and you can bring characters from those universes like they've done with Spider-Gwen or Ghost Spider or whatever they're calling her now, like they did with Miles. It's a fallback plan. Hell, like they did with fucking Moondragon and Phyla Vale as well, because those are from a different reality, the ones that existed and that were part of that Guardians of the Galaxy team. That was right when I stopped fucking purchasing this shit. It's like nothing matters. Nothing fucking matters. There's no continuity be damned. Nothing matters. There's no stakes. And you got to understand, this is what comic books are about. This is what's unique to the medium. So when you rely so heavily on multiversal elements, tokenization, you cheapen what makes this shit interesting. It's that these stories are being told and that all of these characters exist within this universe and there are consequences. So when you rely so heavily on basically overdoing anything that could be seen as a consequence to the action or some event that happened, you've officially cheapened your brand. And they don't see that. You know why? Because the people that have the control now, they look at it as a box that prevents them from being able to tell goofy stories that they want to tell. What better way than to say, fuck all of these mountains of source material and content. Who cares about that? I want to tell my story. What better way than to just rely upon multiversal aspect? It's a goofy fucking character, man. You just listened to a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake, which is live throughout the week at 12 p.m. Central on YouTube.com/YoungRipper59 and Odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. Be sure to check out my website, EricDJuly.com, so you can stay up to date with everything it is that I'm doing. You can also become a member and get access to a bunch of cool perks and exclusive content, which includes a social media hub where you can interact with myself and other members. It even has an app that you can get, which is now live in the Google and Apple stores.